The star winds of Aelun'Dara roared across the silver plains as warrior Arazia stood at the edge of the celestial ridge, gripping her twin plasma blades. The sky above her was wounded, split open by dark streaks that bled violet light. She had felt this shift for many nights now, but today the threat finally showed its face. The Voidfall had begun. It was the end foretold by the Luminar prophecy, the collapse of worlds and the swallowing of stars by an endless, devouring dark. Arazia tightened her stance and breathed deeply, tasting metal dust and ancient echoes of her ancestors. As she steadied herself, a fiery streak pierced the sky behind her. A vessel from a distant world slammed into the low ridge wings, torn hull screaming as it crashed into the crystalline sands. Arazia darted toward the wreck, heart pounding. Her world was ending, yet fate had chosen to bring someone from beyond, the stars, at this exact moment. She approached the flaming crater and saw movement inside. A human soldier dragged himself out, armor-cracked suit sparking. He stumbled, then collapsed. Arazia knelt beside him, observing the strange features of this off-worlder. He breathed quickly, trying to steady himself. His eyes opened slowly, and he whispered, "Earth Soldier Lieutenant Damon Reeve." "Where am I?" She answered, "Aelun'Dara, home of the last warriors of the Aelun'Dara line." Damon blinked, confusion and exhaustion battling inside him. "My ship was pulled by something. A gravitational distortion, a darkness." She replied sharply, "The Voidfall." His gaze sharpened. "Then I am not the only one in danger. The darkness is spreading across sectors. It consumed an entire satellite system near our patrol route." Arazia felt a chill run through her bones. If the Voidfall was already reaching distant human colonies, then time was even shorter than she feared. She stood and held out her hand. "Get up, soldier of Earth. Fate has brought you here for a reason." Damon forced himself up, gripping her wrist. As they rose, the ridge ground trembled. Arazia turned quickly, instinctively pulling him back as a rift opened beneath the wreck. Tendrils of void energy spiraled upward, reaching hungrily for life. Damon stared, eyes wide. "That is what dragged me. It feels alive. It feels aware." Arazia nodded, both aware and starving. "The Voidfall seeks entire worlds. It hunts our existence, itself." They backed away as the tendrils collapsed inward, devouring the remains of Damon's ship before sealing shut. A swirling scar remained in the sand, pulsing faint purple. Damon wiped sweat from his brow. "So your world is its next meal." "Arazia," replied, "not just my world, soldier, all worlds." She led him toward her skyglider, a sleek floating craft shaped like a crescent blade. As it rose with a hum of energy, Damon steadied himself against the frame and asked, "What are we heading toward?" Arazia answered, "The capital citadel of Aelun'Dara. The High Seers must know of your arrival. Your knowledge may help us understand this enemy." Damon sighed heavily. "I do not know much, only that the darkness has patterns, movements, pulses, as if it listens, waits, then strikes." Arazia looked at him with sharp curiosity. "You sound like you have studied it!" Damon shook his head. "No, it studied us." Her grip tightened on the glider controls. "That is worse." They soared over shimmering plains and towering crystal forests. Damon stared in awe, though fear and fatigue dulled his wonder. He had trained among Earth's elite cosmic rangers, but nothing had prepared him for this world. The terrain shimmered with bioluminescence and ancient runic energy. Aelun'Dara was a world born of starfire and myth. Damon finally asked, "Why are you still fighting? If the Voidfall is truly devouring everything, do your people have any hope?" Arazia kept her gaze ahead, voice unwavering. "Warriors of Aelun'Dara do not surrender to fate. We confront it blade in hand." The glider sped toward a massive structure, rising like a spear of light from the ground, the celestial citadel. Its spires crackled with radiant currents, forming a protective dome that flickered under growing strain. As they landed, seers robed in white and gold approached. One stepped forward, eyes glowing with foresight. "Arazia, warrior of the Aelun'Dara line, you bring a stranger at the brink of the world's collapse." Damon bowed shakily. "Lieutenant Damon Reeve of Earth Alliance reporting in." The seer studied him with unreadable calm. Your arrival was foreseen, though. Not your origin. He gestured toward the citadel interior. Come, both of you! There is no time. Inside, Damon felt small beneath towering halls built from crystallized starlight. Floating glyphs shifted across walls, moving like living texts. The High Seer approached a massive projection sphere. Within it, a swirling void expanded, consuming star after star. This is the Voidfall. Damon stepped closer. It is growing faster than our predictions. The seer nodded. It is no natural phenomenon. It is a construct, a weapon forged outside time. Damon stiffened. We suspected something like that, but by who? The seer turned toward Arasia, by the architects of the Null Dominion. Damon frowned. Never heard of them. Arasia answered. They were erased from existence aeons ago, or so we believed. The seer continued. Their return is marked by the Voidfall, for it is powered by their hunger for cosmic dominion. Damon rubbed his forehead. So how do we stop them? The seer pointed to Arasia. You both must travel to the Heart Forge located in the ancient mountains of Solara. Only there can the Starclave blade be awakened, the only weapon that can cut through void energy. Damon blinked. I am no wielder of mystical blades. Arasia placed a hand on his shoulder. You will not wield it, soldier. I will. But you have something I do not. Damon looked confused. What? She replied. Understanding of the Voidfall's patterns, and a courage that fate seems determined to test. The High Seer raised his hands. Go quickly! The Voidfall breach approaches our sky. They rushed out the citadel as alarms blared. Above them a massive vortex tore open, revealing a spiraling dark. Mao. Damon swore under his breath. It is here already. Arasia leaped into the glider, and Damon followed, gripping tightly as they surged upward away from the collapsing dome. Void tendrils lashed at the shield, shattering its lower segments. Damon yelled, What happens if the Voidfall reaches the Heartforge first? Arasia answered, Then all hope will end. They flew for hours, crossing blazing deserts, frozen spires, and levitating mountains, shimmering like fragments of dreams. Damon felt the darkness following them, pulsing like a heartbeat. Arasia spoke without looking back. The Voidfall senses the Starclave blade. It knows we seek it. Damon tightened his jaw. So it is hunting us. She nodded. As they neared the Solara range, the sky darkened unnaturally. The mountains rose sharp and jagged, glowing faintly with inner fire. At the center of the range, a massive gate, shaped like intersecting arcs of stone, stood untouched by time. Arasia landed and stepped forward, touching its carved runes. The gate vibrated and parted, revealing a vast chamber of molten light. Damon followed, shielding his face from the heat. In the center lay a massive anvil of star iron, above which floated a crystal hilt, pulsing with dormant power. Arasia approached reverently. The Starclave blade. Damon watched as she gripped the hilt. The chamber shook violently. The darkness had sensed them. Arasia lifted the hilt, and a beam of light shot from it, forming a blade of pure cosmic fire. Damon staggered back as the mountain roared, splitting open above them. Void tendrils reached down, clawing at the air. Damon shouted, We need to move. Arasia swung the blade downward, slicing through the first tendril. A shockwave of radiant force rippled outward, disintegrating the void fragment. She commanded Damon, Stay behind me. They fought their way out of the Heart Forge, each strike carving through encroaching darkness. Damon used his sidearm firing bursts. Of plasma at gaps, Arasia could not cover, though his shots barely slowed the void. Still he fought with fierce determination, refusing to let fear win. Outside, the entire mountain range trembled. A massive void entity emerged, its form shifting. Like liquid shadow, its eyes like dying stars. Damon froze. That thing pulled my ship! Arasia stepped forward, blade blazing. Then it shall fall by my hand! The entity roared, sending waves of corruptive energy toward them. Damon dove aside, yelling Arasia. She braced and swung the Starclave blade, cleaving the wave in half. Light exploded forward, striking the entity, which recoiled, screaming. Damon scrambled to his feet, hit it again. Arasia charged, leaping high and slicing through one of its massive limbs. The entity wailed, darkness spilling like toxic smoke. Damon shouted, "It is weakening!" Arazia landed panting. "It is not enough." The entity surged forward, smashing the ground. Damon was thrown back, hitting a boulder hard, his vision blurred. Arazia stood alone between him and the monster. Damon forced himself up and shouted, "Arazia, I can help you. The blade responds to purpose. The seer said that." Arazia hesitated, then realized he was right. She reached out with her free hand. Damon ran forward, grabbed her arm, and the blade erupted in blinding radiance. Together they surged forward, guided in by united will. Damon shouted now. Arazia roared and plunged the blade deep into the entity's core. The void creature convulsed and cracked. Light burst outward in every direction. The darkness shattered like brittle stones swept away by roaring fire. Damon collapsed to his knees, gasping. Arazia fell beside him, exhausted, but alive. The sky slowly shifted back to its natural silver hue. Damon looked around. "Did we stop it?" Arazia answered. "We ended its primary vessel, but the voidfall still lingers." Damon frowned. "So this is not over." She shook her head. "Not until the Starclave blade reaches the central breach, the heart of the voidfall source." "And where is that?" She pointed toward the distant sky, where a faint, swirling tear remained. "The place where your ship was first dragged." Damon sighed, pushing himself up. "Then we finish this. Together." Arazia rose, gripping the blade firmly. "Your courage surprises me, soldier of Earth." Damon smirked, despite exhaustion. "Likewise, Warrior of Aelun'Dara." They stepped onto the glider, rising once again into the wounded sky. The fight ahead would decide the fate of countless worlds, but neither wavered. For in their unity, light had already overcome darkness once, and it would do so again. The voidfall awaited, but so did their destiny. And together they would face it without fear and without hesitation.